Now, the cool thing is this. William Shakespeare is also the same individual that created the Bible. Okay? William Shakespeare is an alias. Because you know William Shakespeare as King James. King James and William Shakespeare is the same individual. In fact, William Shakespeare was like his stage name. So, being this sorcerer, this is why he created the Bible as King James. And then his sorcerer name was William Shakespeare. He was a playwright. But if you read the Bible is all about the mixing of words and the way they are used. They are used in a hypnotic type of way to lure your soul or your spirit away from the essence of truth. Everything that we did, he inverted. We normally meditated before Bible ever came, so he made us close our eyes and pray. We've been had Orishas, we've been tapped into our ancestors, so he had us praising their ancestors, their white gods. Okay? So that's when they started to come with their cloud making machines and come up with alternates to block out the sun. This was all led by William Shakespeare, aka King James, who was the king of the land at the time. At the same time the Bible was being made, they were creating the homosexual agenda. So you had all these men back then, and they don't like women. So they role played. The whole play of Romeo and Juliet, that was written by William Shakespeare. A lot of these playwrights was written, Macbeth, a lot of that stuff was William Shakespeare. Okay? But you got to understand why he wrote those plays, why he was writing that. The Bible itself is a big playwright. He used over 100 scholars to help write the Bible. He took some of our truth and masqueraded it with scholars who came up with all type of slick words to trick you away from your divinity. Okay? It's all a part of a ritual against nature. And the reason it's like that is because this goes back to the Shakespearean era, which is where the entire industry comes from. You know, they had playwrights back then, singers, all that. They were doing all that. And they wouldn't let any women be a part of it because they are against women. So when they would do these plays like Romeo and Juliet, that was a man playing the role of Juliet. They would have two men on stage and they would be kissing the hell out of each other and role playing and all of that. This is what you got to know. This is the Shakespearean era. This is the same agenda that the elites follow in the music era because it's all one big ritual towards Set, Satan, Zeus. Okay? The reason being is because of Shakespeare was a sorcerer. Now, he had another name. His other name was Francis Bacon. He had three aliases: King James, William Shakespeare, and Francis Bacon. Okay? These are all the same individuals, but they won't tell you that he was a sorcerer. So when you hear these stories about these parties and artists and entertainers having to sacrifice people or have to participate in all these crazy rituals, that all comes from the Shakespeare era. Now, let's break down William Shakespeare. Why did King James even call himself William Shakespeare? Okay, let's break the name down. William breaks down to what? Will I am. Now, what is will? Will is willpower. Okay? When you read about Aleister Crowley, who stole all that from us, he had a saying, do as thou wilt. Do as thy wilt. Being a God, only we can do that. Do as thy will. Okay, so what's another word for a will? When somebody, they say make a will to leave to your kids and your family, right? So that's a written agreement to pass something down, right? That's the true name of will. That's the true meaning of will, right? You have a cosmic will where you had to sign and agree to an agreement, and these gifts were passed down to you to take down to this realm to use. So King James, that's why he plays on the name Will. Okay? Because he had his will that was passed down to him to do his job on this realm. And we know I is the soul. So when you want to channel primordial energy, you say I am. If somebody was to ask you your name and you understand that you are one with everything and everything is you, that you are God, that you are source, you are connected, there is no separate, you would say that I am that I am. Okay? But when you say I am that I am, you're channeling primordial energy. So this is where the whole name Will I Am. That's what that means. It's magic. When he would do his rituals, he would say, Will I Am, and cast his spell. No different than me saying, I am everything and everything is me. All right? That's a positive spell that I create. Even Shakespeare. What did they lie and tell you how the earth looked like a spear, right? Will I Am shake this spear? When something shakes, what does it do? It moves. So William Shakespeare breaks down to Will I Am shake this spear? Use your will to move this world and mold it to what we need you to make it become. And that's why he wrote the Bible, which has shaped the whole fucking world, didn't it? Because that's what everybody was living under, the Bible. Catholic, whatever denomination, even Muslims revert back to the Bible. All those plays, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet. When you think of love, first motherfuckers they name is Romeo and Juliet. They represent love. But they don't tell you that fucking Juliet was a man. When he wrote that, he was writing in the homosexual agenda because he was against nature. Francis Bacon did a lot of things based around literature and dealing with certain frequencies. That's all the same individual. They tell you the pagans made the holidays. Shakespeare created the holidays. All of them. Even the name pagan, Shakespeare. Right? One of the most powerful sorcerers. The whole idea of using the power of words to entrap us in this maze of lies, Shakespeare, you have Shakespeare to thank for that. Who idea you think it was to whitewash all of history? Shakespeare. He came and shook a lot of shit up. He set the foundation that they end up using after the Emancipation Proclamation, which was another spell. The idea to whitewash history, to create the Bible, to create the idea of love, to create the standard for homosexuality. William Shakespeare. They could have used women in all them plays. They was using men. So today when you see the industry and most of them are men and most of the men are women, comes from Shakespeare. You gotta know why. And you gotta know that William Shakespeare is King James and King James is Francis Bacon. Same individual. You see? Having us believe in that Bible took us away from our ancestors. That was a very powerful tactic. You have William Shakespeare to thank for that.